This is Mission Impossible 3, and this particular scene describes what's going on with Radeon GPUs, 6000 series GPUs at the moment. Is this true? No, and that is what this video is about. So welcome back to Krita Studios, and let's start. The start of this story took place in Germany, where a graphics card repair shop received a batch from different customers, lots of RX 6000 series cards, more than 40 approximately, and all of them had the same problem. They had all failed. More than that, a lot of them, when Chris Fix is the guy and he has a channel on YouTube, I'm going to link all the videos that I'm going to mention here in the description. So what happened is, when he took off the cooler from the GPU, a bit of the GPU core came up with it. So it literally blew up. Now, all of the customers had told the guy that the only thing they did was update the drivers. So that set a narrative that drivers are killing these cards. On this topic, Jays2Cents did a video and he tried to explain that drivers may not be the cause and the problem may not be like as we are trying to see it. And he tried to explain a lot of things in the videos, but it did not end up, doing what it was intended to do. And it caused a lot of uproar. And again, so it basically divided people into two groups. One of the groups was saying that the cards are bad, AMD is bad, blah blah blah, boycott, whatever. And the second group, they started chastising Jays, saying that he was fear mongering and trying to sell fear among people and blah blah blah. That was not the point of the video. If you watch the full video, you'll understand what he was trying to say. He simply said that the drivers are causing issues related to crashes, stuttering, and all of that. And if you are facing that issue, now this is a broadly recognized issue at the moment with the latest drivers. So what he suggested was that you roll back, but he also told people that something like this is not possible simply by the drivers, because drivers can alter fan curves and all of that stuff, maybe alter the thermal limits and all of that, but socket voltage, core voltage, all of that is all defined in the BIOS, and drivers do not mess with the BIOS. So something like that happening because of a driver update was highly unlikely, and that is what Jay was going on about. But again, it did not work out as intended. Now, the second thing is, because of this, Chris Fix did a follow-up video with 150 hours of testing, came up with a theory. Jays2Cents did a follow-up video regarding the same, and he tried to explain all of that again, but he also pointed out that he might not be doing tech news anymore because of whatever happened in the comments and all of that. Now, I simply want to talk about the impact of such videos. First of all, when the issue was highlighted, immediately people turned against AMD, which is not fair again, because Jay explained that with a test pool this small, it is not representative of a bigger problem. So this was just one shop in Germany which received all of these cards and in a certain place. So the test pool is very small and there are no such reported problems from around the world as far as I know so far. So this test pool is too small to determine state that drivers can be doing this. So they did a follow-up video, came up with the theory. Jays did that too. Now moving on, we have already talked about how drivers cannot do something like that. Now I want to talk about the impact of such videos. First of all, if a card fails, let's say 100 GPUs are sold, 2 of them fail and the company RMAs them, that is a loss but not a major one. They account for all of that when they are trying to determine the prices of the GPUs that they are going to launch at and whatever. So that is all taken into account. But when something like this happens, when this much misinformation spreads on the internet, the problem is that it deters a lot of potential buyers for the said company. And I even read in some comments that people were running away and they were trying to get rid of those GPUs, selling them or returning them or whatever. Now that is a major loss for a company like that. Moreover, in the bigger picture, a lot of people, if you throw a stone, you might hit a Nvidia hater. So the thing is, you hate on Nvidia because their prices are very high, but it is something similar to what was happening in the CPU market. So ever since Ryzen arrived, the market is much better, the prices, the performance, and both the companies are trying to outdo each other. So that is good for the market. But in the sense of GPUs, in regards to GPUs, that is not true, because Radeon is still far behind Nvidia. but it is trying to catch up, and something like this is going to end up being a larger blow. So overall for the market as well, something like this is not good in a general sense. Now what I want to talk about more importantly is fear. So with electronic equipments and all of that, we're afraid, very afraid to do stuff, and now even with the follow-up videos, first let's talk about the theory. Chrisfix came up with an idea that most of these cards were damaged the same way. They were brand new, they were very clean looking, but the customers won't send them for an RMA because most of them did not have an invoice, so they bought it second hand, they bought it used. And Chrisfix thought, this was his theory, that most of them bought these cards from the same place or at least the same root source, and they were stored improperly, and that is why they soaked moisture. And as soon as the cards were plugged in and they started working, they heated up and the core blew up. Now he also told us, his viewers, that he has experienced something like that. That is why he dries his chips before he starts to work on them, regardless. So this fear thing, now with this video, Chrisfix is trying to teach us something else, that this was the issue. But this moisture thing, now this is going to cause hysteria among people. People are going to be using a lot of dehumidifiers and all of that. Now again, I'm not asking you guys to not be careful with electronic equipment, but they can handle more abuse than we think they can. A while ago I had to sell a PC, so I transported a fully built PC on a motorcycle on the front tank. I kept it on the front tank, rode for 30 kilometers, more than 30 kilometers in winters. Lot of humidity, lot of fog, lot of stuff. Took it to the office, took off the side panel, put some 5 or 6 dry tissues in there for 10 or 15 minutes, took them out, and it is working fine till date. Another example, I use my phone in the bathroom. Now, if you do not have an exhaust and if you use warm water, there's going to be steam. That should damage the phone, and I have to be careful about that. I think about that as well, but I cannot help it. I still carry the phone in the bathroom every day, and it is still working fine. Again, not asking you to not be careful, but there's a difference between being careful and being afraid. If you're careful, you'll do that, whatever you're doing, you'll do it carefully. If you're afraid, you won't do it at all. So the point of this video is that misinformation and anything of that sort, before you can verify all of that, do not take it too seriously, and do not jump the gun in trying to villainize the brands or some people who are trying to bring to you some information. That is what bothered me more, the comments on the first video from Jay's 2 cents and Chrisfix. And even on the second video, some people were saying the damage is already done, blah blah blah. It is not really their fault. They were trying to point out something and it just blew up into something else entirely. Again, the point is, be careful, do not be afraid. The computer components can take a lot more abuse. Not asking you to abuse them, but still. Based on all of that, you can build your computers safely. If you're facing issues with your RX 6000 series cards, you can simply roll back the drivers like Jay suggested, till the crashing and stuttering and all the issues that you are facing and what most people are facing are resolved, or till the next fix. But they are not going to blow up your GPU core. Misfortune lies there. There's silicon lottery. Some cards are going to clock higher, some won't, and that depends on silicon lottery. And with bulk production, some issues can happen, maybe a missing thermal pad, higher thermals, blah blah blah. But something of this sort, it very rarely happens, and even more so in the case of a driver update. So that is all for today. And do check out the original videos. I'm going to link them in the description. And if you like the content, if you like the video, like. And if you have any thoughts about this, if you'd like to discuss something, if you liked something that I said, if you did not like something I said, leave that in the comments, and do subscribe to the channel because that is a great help to us. And that is it for today. Bye.